Welcome to MsMojo, and today we're counting down our picks for the most legendary Broadway musical performances of each year since 2000. For this list, we'll be considering productions by the year of Broadway opening.
You're all winners in my book. There's only one winner.
2000, Heather Headley as Aida. Aida.
Those very rare occasions, don't let up, they keep on coming. All I've ever wanted, and I'm throwing it away.
It's one of the most famous roles in all of opera. Under the care of composer Elton John and lyricist Tim Rice, Aida was rewritten into a Broadway lead for a performer with a big voice and an even bigger presence.
We have to keep believing, though we're scattered, so divided.
Original star Heather Headley became synonymous with the role. Even negative reviews of the show highlighted her towering performance as the captured princess torn between her loyalty to her people and a forbidden love. Rosie O'Donnell was calling her Tony win months before she actually won the award. It's a performance so good that her win was clearly written in the stars.
This God's experiment, in which we have no say, in which we're given paradise.
2001, Gary Beach as Roger Debris. The producers.
He brings the money, we're on our way, keep it gay, keep it gay. We can do, we have our back.
Mel Brooks's Madcap musical still holds the record for most Tony wins. Nathan Lane's performance as Max Bialystock, the crooked producer, is genius. But the best of 2001 might have to go to Gary Beach's turn as Roger Debris.
A theatre's so obsessed, with dramas so depressed, it's hard to sell a ticket on Broadway. Shows should be more pretty, shows should be more witty, shows should be more, what's the word?
As the eccentric and over-the-top director, brave and foolish enough to cast himself in his own production as Adolf Hitler, Beach is hilarious. Despite all the flamboyant gestures and insane ideas Roger has, Beach was grounded in reality. One reviewer even called his the most honest performance in the show. Like most of the original cast, Beach got to reprise his brilliant work in the 2005 film version.
I'll myself watch my show. I'm the German Ethel Merman, don't you know?
2002, Sutton Foster as Millie Delmount. Thoroughly Modern Millie.
But the fact is, everything today is thoroughly modern.
Check your personality.
Everything today makes yesterday slow.
Taking on a role first played by Julie Andrews in a 1967 movie, Foster had big shoes to fill as Millie, the small-town girl who comes to New York in search of her dreams. Sutton Foster tore through the show's dance numbers and comedy scenes with ease.
Forget about the boys.
Considering 2002 was also the year Hairspray opened, there's a lot of competition for this spot. Harvey Fierstein's unsurpassed take on Edna Turnblad is a close second to Foster. The newcomer reminded critics of an old-fashioned type of star made new. True triple threats are few and far between. When Foster burst onto the scene in her breakthrough role, Broadway had to sit up and take notice of a perky and insanely talented new star.
Somebody to love me. I need it.
2003, Idina Menzel as Elphaba. Wicked.
It's time to trust my instincts. Close my eyes and sleep. It's time to try defying gravity.
2003 saw the opening of Avenue Q, Bernadette Peters stunning everyone as Mama Rose and Gypsy, and Kristen Chenoweth dazzled as Glinda the Good Witch of the North. But depending on who you talk to, it's Chenoweth's co-star whose work in Wicked most endures. Idina Menzel's distinctive, high-flying voice is just one component of her incredible Elphaba.
Tell them I am defying gravity. I'm flying high, defying gravity, and soon I'll match them in renown.
Her Tony-winning performance as the green-skinned witch who will eventually become the Wicked Witch of the West was a marvel of vocal technique and dramatic skill. Even the production's most underwhelmed critics couldn't deny her powers.
I swear someday there'll be a celebration throughout Oz. That's all to do with me.
2004, Tonya Pinkins as Caroline Thibodeau, Caroline or Change.
Least thing that they could teach you is not to talk on what is wholly, completely, abysmally ignorant of.
In this musical set in the 1960s, a maid's warm relationship with her employer's young son is tested and eventually broken. Caroline Thibodeau is haunted by bitter disappointments, even as her children keep telling her that the world is changing. Tonya Pinkins' arresting performance is not your standard Broadway musical fare.
I don't want it. Ain't some rag pig. Ain't some jacked off. I don't want your husband's money. I got a load of laundry left, so excuse me, Mrs. Gilman. From now on, I'll check every pocket to put the money in the bleach cup.
Her performance was marked by a stoicism and passive aggression that ultimately gave way to soul-bearing, voice-shredding emotion in the climactic song Lot's Wife.
I'm gonna slam that iron down on my heart. Gonna slam that iron down on my throat. Gonna slam that iron down on my sex. Gonna slam it, slam it.
Reviewers described her work as epic, extraordinary, and even legendary. Pinkins was nominated for a Tony for the role, which she reprised on the West End. 2005, Sara Ramirez as Lady of the Lake, Spamalot.
Set your mind on what to find, and there's nothing you can't do.
This Monty Python musical is clearly all about the yucks. When they originated the role of the fabled Lady of the Lake, Sara Ramirez brought the funny, but they also brought a resonant, rafter-ringing voice that could give you chills. Watching Ramirez toy with their gorgeous voice was mesmerizing and hysterical.
Where is it? Where?
A sentimental song that casts a magic spell. They all will hum along, will overact like hell.
It was a masterclass in scenery chewing and vocal acrobatics. The role required them to be able to volley between different pastiches of performance styles, from pop diva to glitzy jazz singer. Ramirez was equal to the task.
This is one unhappy diva. The producers have deceived her. That is nothing I can sing from my heart.
Their work, which won the Tony for Best Featured Actress in a Musical, was described as scene-stealing. 2006, Raúl Esparza as Bobby, Company.
You can be my best friend. I can be your right arm. We'll go through a fight or two.
In 2006, Spring Awakening was exploding onto the Broadway stage. Tony winner John Gallagher Jr.'s Moritz and his co-stars led a rallying cry of adolescent angst.
Nothing going wild in you, you know. You're slowing by the riverside, or floating high in blue.
But it's a smoldering ember next to the volcanic eruption that is Esparza's take on being alive.
Make me confused, mock me with praise. Let me be used, vary my days.
Stephen Sondheim's concept musical about marriage and commitment was given a dramatic overhaul for its 2006 revival. Director John Doyle stripped down the production and handed the actors the instruments, making them the show's orchestra. Raúl Esparza played the leading role, perennially single and alone Bobby, very differently than any other actor. Instead of being an amiable observer, Esparza's Bobby was an anguished man with emotions always buried right under the surface, threatening to bubble over.
See, frankly, I just seem to meet people like myself.
Oh, God, talk about pathetic!
2007, Laura Bell Bundy as Elle Woods, Legally Blonde.
Should break up.
Reese Witherspoon left some big, fashionable pink shoes behind. When Legally Blonde made its transition to the stage, it was going to take a very special actress to fill them. Elle Woods is an effervescent, high-energy role that needs someone seriously talented.
I don't have the time to cry. I'm too busy loving my name on that list. Kind of a cool, ironic twist.
For Broadway audiences and fans of the MTV presentation, Laura Bell Bundy was the perfect choice. Regardless of the reviews that were critical of the show, Bundy received widespread acclaim.
Read within reach. Don't stray beyond.
We both know you're worth so much
Some girls wired. Some face the drum. Some girls were just meant to smile.
She was celebrated for making Elle's apparent silliness always feel real. That's not even to mention her fleet feet and irrepressible energy. 2008, Patti LuPone as Rose, Gypsy.
I had a dream, just as real as can be, Papa. There I was in Mr. Orpheum's office, and he was saying to me, Rose, get yourself some new orchestrations, new routines, and red velvet curtains. Get a feather hat for the baby.
This is one of those productions that felt inevitable. All the most legendary Broadway divas play Rose at some point, and in 2008, it was Patti's turn. LuPone won her second Tony for her fierce, full-throttle embodiment of the stage mother.
This people's got it, and this people's spreading it around. You either have it, or you've had it.
This was also the year Billy Elliot fever came to New York. Where the amazing young actors playing Billy shared triple duty, LuPone just had years of experience and a dynamic stage presence. By all accounts, LuPone swallowed the role whole. Her single-minded determination matched that of her character, whose obsession with stardom threatened to burn down everything around her.
Everything's coming up. Roses for me and for you.
2009, Alice Ripley as Diana Goodman, Next to Normal.
You don't know what it's like to live that way, like a refugee, a fugitive, forever on the run. If it gets me, it'll kill me.
Given its complicated themes, it took the team behind Next to Normal several passes to get it right. Alice Ripley had been attached to the role as early as its 2006 workshop.
Please hear me calling.
Make it about you.
Catch me, I'm falling for good. Catch me, I'm falling.
By the time she got to Broadway, the role of Diana fit her like a glove. Her intensity and raspy voice gave her character, who's trying to manage her bipolar disorder, a desperation that might not have been so effective from a more traditional voice.
I miss the mountains. I miss the lonely climb.
Longtime New York Times theater critic Ben Brantley called it the performance of the season. Ripley naturally went on to win the Tony. 2010, Douglas Hodge as Albin, La Cage aux Folles.
The best of times is now. What's left of summer but a faded rose.
Based on the traditional French film that inspired The Birdcage, La Cage is the heartwarming and hilarious story of two gay men who own and operate a gay nightclub. Douglas Hodge won a Tony in the role of Albin, the club's star drag performer.
'Cause everything's ravishing, sensual, and fabulous when Albin is tucked away and
The show was Hodge's Broadway debut. However, the British actor was a West End veteran who had already won an Olivier Award for the role and was more than experienced in bringing an audience to its feet. Reviewers noted that Hodge was able to balance Albin's intensity and care and ground it in reality.
Your life is a sham till you can shout out loud, I am what I am.
2011, Audra McDonald as Bess, Porgy and Bess. Sutton Foster was dazzling audiences as Reno Sweeney, and Andrew Rannells was making us believe as Elder Price. But 2011 belongs to Audra McDonald. She won her 5th Tony for the 2011 revival of the famous Gershwin opera. The revival was controversial for the changes made to modernize the text, but McDonald received near unanimous praise as Bess, an outcast shunned by her community.
I loves you, Porgy. Don't let him take me.
The role was one McDonald had wanted the chance to perform for years. It turned out to be the perfect marriage of her superhuman classical voice and her modern style of acting.
And I remember being at Juilliard and frustrated and not sure wanting to sing operatically and listening to Porgy and Bess over and over again and saying, well, if I were to do opera, that would be the one I would do.
2012, Steve Kazee as Guy, Once. Transferring the movie musical about busking musicians in Dublin to the Broadway stage, Steve Kazee originated the role of the brooding, guitar-playing man known only as Guy. His was a tall order. Kazee played the male lead as the guy who pulls out a guitar at the party that you actually want to listen to.
And I love her so. I wouldn't trade her for gold.
The New York Times described his performance as, quote, a soulful, quietly erotic energy. His seductive power on stage was noted by several critics, but it was also his handling of the character's deep longing and pain that endeared him to audiences and Tony voters, who handed him the trophy for Best Leading Actor in a Musical.
When your mind's made up, when your mind's made up, there's no point in even talking.
2013, Jefferson Mays as the Dysquith Family, A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder.
Oh, I say, what do you think you're doing? Yes, well, I'm here to introduce a number from this smart and hilarious new musical.
Billy Porter was a revelation as he originated the role of Lola in Kinky Boots. But how many actors can play 9 performances in one? Jefferson Mays originated the role of the entire Dysquith family in the witty and inventive Best Musical winner, A Gentleman's Guide to Love and Murder.
Congratulations to this year's Tony nominees. What the hell are the Tonys? C-O-N-G. I dated a Tony. She spelled it with an I. You're all winners in my book.
Shuffling through all the Dysquiths took more than costume changes. It required Mays to create 9 different, distinct, and completely different personalities. From a hammy actress to a confused vicar, the Dysquiths are an eccentric bunch. Mays took to the task with relish.
I find the species, frankly, problematical. Oh, I don't understand the poor.
His characters even became an integral part of the show's social media presence. 2014, Neil Patrick Harris as Hedwig, Hedwig and the Angry Inch.
Hey, sugar daddy, Hansel needs some sugar in his bowl.
Aladdin's James Monroe Iglehart and Beautiful the Carole King musical's Jessie Mueller were obvious standouts of this year, but Neil Patrick Harris's portrayal of Hedwig was the clear frontrunner of 2014. Undoubtedly a complex character, Harris's performance as Hedwig brings her to life in all of her vulnerability, musicality, and nuance.
That's the pain that cuts a straight line down through the heart. We call it love.
He is absolutely electrifying up on stage. Hedwig is a certified rock star after all. Being a tale centered around gender identity, Harris plays Hedwig with the utmost care and respect for the LGBTQIA+ community, cementing this role as one of the most iconic of all time. 2015, Leslie Odom Jr. as Aaron Burr, Hamilton. This spot could belong to anyone in the cast of this culture-shifting show. Lin-Manuel Miranda gave Hamilton his scrappiness. Jonathan Groff made a meal of King George III's small role. Christopher Jackson made George Washington come alive. Renee Elise Goldsberry had the world singing Angelica. And Daveed Diggs dazzled us with his rapping. The show may be about Alexander Hamilton, but as the man who shot him, Leslie Odom Jr. got to bite into some of Hamilton's juiciest, most psychologically complex moments.
I am the one thing in life I can control. I am inimitable, I am an original.
His Aaron Burr is torn apart by the words of a man who once admired him. Watching him descend into prideful, murderous anger gave the musical its dramatic stakes.
The world was wide enough for both Hamilton and me.
2016, Ben Platt as Evan Hansen. Dear Evan Hansen. Denée Benton's Tony-nominated work in Natasha, Pierre, and the Great Comet of 1812 was a revelation, but 2016 belonged to The Boy in the Arm cast. Evan is a socially anxious teenager who inserts himself into the tragic circumstances surrounding a classmate's death. Things get complicated and heavy pretty fast. Ben Platt had been playing the role from its earliest workshops. It'd be fair to say the role is as much his creation as it is the writer's.
Even when the dark comes crashing through, when you need a friend to carry you, and when you're broken on the ground.
Apart from those precise runs and insane falsetto notes, Evan was a role that put the actor through an almost relentless cycle of intense emotions 8 shows a week.
All we see is light, 'cause the sun burns bright.
Platt nailed the necessary balance of Evan's anxiety and his sense of humor. 2017, Katrina Lenk as Dina, The Band's Visit.
Kulthum and Omar Sharif came floating on a jasmine wind.
The long-awaited revival of Hello Dolly was led by an incandescent Bette Midler and Gavin Creel, but the surprise hit of the season was The Band's Visit. Katrina Lenk and Tony Shalhoub earned raves as the cafe owner and band leader thrown together by fate in Tel Aviv. Lenk's highly physical portrayal of Dina was an arresting experience.
This movement style is all based on, instead of making shapes, you move in a way that feels a certain way.
Her longing came through loud and clear. The role was considered a breakthrough for the actress, showcasing an incredible talent for transporting the audience.
Where you are, this is not Petah Tikva. Such a city, nobody knows it. Not a fun, not a art, not a culture. This is Petah Tikva with a B.
Originating the role off-Broadway before its Broadway transfer. She won a Lucille Lortel Award and a Tony Award for her work. 2018, Joshua Henry as Billy Bigelow, Carousel.
Let my golden chances pass me by.
Rodgers and Hammerstein's controversial hero is one of the most iconic roles in all of musical theater. When Carousel came to Broadway in 2018, Joshua Henry had a lot to live up to. He and co-star Lindsay Mendez garnered stellar reviews. Henry was humbled by the history attached to the show.
I think he comes from an abusive past. You know, I think he had a really bad relationship with his dad.
His electrifying voice sent shivers up and down the spines of all who saw the production. He brought Billy's rage and frustration to life and nailed his 7-minute aria, the ambivalent tour de force soliloquy.
I'll go out and make it, or steal it, or take it.
On the other side of the spectrum, 2018 was also the year Stephanie J. Block embodied Cher in the bio-musical The Cher Show. 2019, Aaron Tveit as Christian, Moulin Rouge.
And there's no mountain too high, no river too wide.
Taking on the role played by Ewan McGregor in the movie, Aaron Tveit scored his first Tony for the high-flying musical fantasy. His performance as Christian allowed him to show off his charm and exuberance, but it also took him to some dark places. Infusing pop songs by Elton John and Sia with grandiose theatrics and sweeping romance, Tveit got the perfect opportunity to showcase his crystal-clear voice.
Well, the thing is, what I really mean, yours are the
sweetest eyes that I've ever seen.
Tveit's El Tango de Roxanne was a particular highlight. He became the single best leading actor in a musical nominee at the 2020 Tonys, as Broadway theaters shut down during the COVID-19 pandemic. 2021, Patti LuPone as Joanne, Company.
Lounging in their caftans and planning a brunch on their own behalf.
The musical theater legend had played the role of Joanne at least twice by the time she took it to Broadway, once in a 2011 concert version, and once in the same gender-swapped production of the Stephen Sondheim musical when it premiered in the West End.
The hobbies you pursue together, savings you accrue together, looks you misconstrue together, that make marriage a joy.
By the time she got to Broadway in the role, it was the culmination of years of work. Given her no-nonsense public persona, LuPone's a natural fit for Joanne's acid-tongued discontent. The Ladies Who Lunch, the character's anthem of bitterness and misplaced resentment, has never been funnier or more uncomfortable.
Let's hear it for the ladies who lunch. Everybody rise! Rise!
2022, Joaquina Kalukango as Nellie O'Brien, Paradise Square. 2022, Jaquel Spivey led the boundary pushing A Strange Loop, and J. Harrison G. made history in Some Like It Hot.
Now you can knock me over with a feather, 'cause you're the lady that I'm loving is me.
Meanwhile, Joaquina Kalukango became the beating heart of Paradise Square. Set amid the New York City draft riots of 1863, Paradise Square scored middling reviews and only ran for 108 performances. The reason that no one who saw it can forget it is because of Joaquina Kalukango. In her Tony-winning role, which Variety called a star-making performance, Kalukango delivered the performance that became the glue holding the piece together. As Nellie, a bar and brothel owner, she became the production's breakout star. The performance was so well received in pre-Broadway tryouts that it inspired the writers to center her narrative in the story. 2023, Alex Newell as Lulu, Shocked. While Jonathan Groff and Daniel Radcliffe dealt with the joys and pains of friendship in Merrily We Roll Along, Alex Newell was serving up corn. Playing the protagonist's whiskey-making cousin Lulu, Alex Newell won the Tony for Best Featured Actor and had the audiences of Shucked on their feet night after night.
I call you when you're happy or when you're missing your daddy.
Newell became one of the first non-binary actors to win the Tony. They also got to introduce one of Broadway's new classics. Independently owned is Lulu's unforgettable I Am song, a testament to the character's strength and determination to get by on her own. The reviews never failed to mention Newell's fierce and explosive vocal ability.
Before we continue, be sure to subscribe to our channel and ring the bell to get notified about our latest videos. You have the option to be notified for occasional videos or all of them. If you're on your phone, make sure you go into your settings and switch on notifications.
2024, Maleah Joi Moon as Allie, Hell's Kitchen.
Better to be alive than just to be living.
Based on the life of singer-songwriter Alicia Keys, Hell's Kitchen made its Broadway premiere in 2024. As Allie, Keys' in-show facsimile, Maleah Joi Moon has to nail comic timing, welcoming narration, and deliver a silky smooth vocal. She did it all and more. Moon is a marvel of technical skill. Given that she was almost done with theater when she auditioned for the role, it couldn't have come at a better time. Its entire cast was celebrated, but Moon picked up several awards for her performance, including the Drama Desk Award and the coveted Tony.
I'm trying to hit the top, 'cause the bottom ain't where it's at.
Did your favorite Broadway performance make the list? Let us know in the comments.
Why not? Think of the prestige. No. Think of the respect. No, no, no. Think of the Tony. Tony, 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 Tony.
Do you agree with our picks? Check out this other recent clip from MsMojo. And be sure to subscribe and ring the bell to be notified about our latest videos.